Bowie Grano, Winnie Bon, my fellow Transformer fans. Monkey here, with a dilemma that I can't figure out myself. I'll explain in a moment. First of all, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping, just to keep you up on what's going on. Iconic Reviews is proud to present Spotlight Optimus Prime, and it's out now. There's a link at the bottom. I'm going to stop this video, click on the link. With that, I'd like to thank the Lady Wreck herself, Amy, for joining us on this episode, and it was so much fun having her. Rob was off during the recording because of education, so to fill his shoes, Amy stood up and took the lance and held it well. So she did, like a pro, as she is. Link at the bottom. Check it out. On to the comics. This is all about comics. And before we go on to it, I just want to congratulate Dave, Carol Prime, and Patrina. Hopefully she's going to take the name Witwicky. I don't know. I hope so. But, hopefully aka Witwicky. She's going to keep this one. But for congratulating him on the Microbase, which is a new podcast channel that they're doing. Check them out. It's where the Underbase talks about the comics, and Moonbase 2 talks about the toys and what's going on. The Microbase covers everything else and in between and all the above. It just has a good chat. And like I say, Patrina and Dave host it, and it's good. I enjoyed listening to it. It was very insightful, very thought-provoking, and made us think about things. Very good. So, link at the bottom again. Check it out. And on that note, Microbase comes out with questions. I think yesterday it was something like, what was the question? Oh, have you seen the movie yet? Today's question is the reason why I'm on the camera now. What Transformer era do you prefer? G1, G2, IDW. I think, was Dreamwave in there? I don't know. Probably not. It didn't matter. All it was saying to me is, what do you prefer? The original G1 comics or the IDW comics? Now, you kids today will be thinking, screaming at the thing now, going, IDW. Well, hang on a minute. There's more than meets the eye when it comes to the G1 comics. I've always wanted to put a link in that somewhere, but it's still not clear cut for me. Okay, let me explain. I've done a little graph. I had to think about it a lot. I did a little graph, G1 and IDW, and I put in the pros and cons, and I'm still not getting it. But hopefully, talking about it out loud might help me. So let's go with G1. G1 is where it all started. The Marvel G1 is where they brought all the characters up. A lot of them was done by Bob Budiansky. He brought the characters, filled them out, gave them backgrounds, personalities. But then you had greats like Denny O'Neill coming in and putting names in the hat for bots. It was him who, Denny O'Neill. And those of you guys who don't know who Denny O'Neill is, he is DC's answer to Marvel's Stan Lee. Okay, Denny O'Neill is an amazing writer and creator, and I think he created Bane. He might have done. Anyway, doesn't matter. He named Optimus Prime. But anyway, I digress. So there was all the basic, the fundamental building blocks to the universe of Transformers all started in G1, and you have to give them that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's a winner. IDW has reinvented it. It's taken the names and kind of the personality, but maybe little tweaks and twists here and there, or emphasised the characters to a more extreme way. Take, for instance, Whirl. Whirl was a wrecker, and he's based on a bot that was made by Bandai, and all we saw of him was in the UK comics. And his character profile, right, says that basically he is crazy in the air. He tries everything, death-defying stunts and everything. You know, he will try everything. You don't want to be near him when he's in the air. He's deadly. But IDW did something more. They made him truly crazy. You can't work him out. He's not right in the head. But it's great like that. So reinvention is one for IDW. Definitely. But I'm not just bringing out reasons. I'm also bringing out storylines as well. But as a G1er, I still feel the original comics weren't very good. Let me explain. I have my original collection up in the loft, and I went into it at the beginning, and I got up to, like, I don't know, UK issue 25, probably, something like that. Then I left, and I came back to it later, and that was Primal Scream, for those of you who know where it was, which is basically, I think, about US 57 onwards. And finished the thing. And I've been collecting these. These are IDW. Okay, they're printed by IDW, but they're the original Marvel comics. Now let me just explain. We've got the US continuity. So the US comics went from 1, obviously, to 80, issue 80. Okay, and the artwork is fantastic, and I like the original 5 or 6 issues. Basically, Shockwave taking over and being rescued, and Buster breaking in, and the Dinobots turning up, and all that. That was good. That was good. But then it started to... I mean, the Constructicons thing was pretty cool as well. Jetfire. So the volume 1, pretty good. But then it starts to wane a little bit. And it gets worse and worse and worse. Until issue 54, 55, I think it was 54, of the US, Bob Budiansky left. But at the same time, the US issue 1 was coming out. The UK issue 1 was coming out. And what that entailed, a little bit after actually, what that entailed though was they got half of issue 1 and put it in the comic, and then the other half of issue 1 was put in the second comic. But so when you got a UK comic, you had half of the US, half the comic was filled with the US story, and the other half had a UK story. And this was written by the Marvel UK team, headed by Simon Furman as the writer. And so the first story, Man of Iron. Okay, not the strongest story, but it was based in the UK, and it showed. It's okay. It's a half tried experiment to try and do something. But Simon Furman obviously got better and better. And these, where these got weaker, these got stronger. So as they progressed, they got better stories. So to that end, I have a few stories that I have to put in as like a tally. City of Fear was one. Dan Reed. And those of you who know, just a quick one, those Dan Reed is horrific, ugly drawing, but it's stuff I love. And City of Fear was made for him to draw. It was it's amazing stuff. Basically, it's a city sealed off because it's got zombies in it. On Cybertron, we're talking Cybertron here. Zombies, people. Zombie bots. Yeah. Awesome. Then we go into, and this is all Simon Furman. I have to say, this is all Simon Furman stuff. Bob Budiansky's, yeah, the earlier stuff, like I said, was pretty good. But Primal Scream, The Matrix Quest, On the Edge of Extinction, and then the final one, which was a UK one, which was Earth Force, and it went all the way through to near the end. It was then that Simon left to go and do the US one, and Earth Force. I love Earth Force. I'd love Simon to just crack on with that. That would be brilliant. I mean, they're kind of doing it now, aren't they? In the UK, in the IDW now, so they don't, you know. So there's that. But IDW bring in depth to the characters. And I'm not giving anything away in this. I've just been reading the IDW stuff lately. All I've got to do is issue 3 of Windblade. I'm up to date now. But Megatron is scared of needles, or he cringes at needles. He doesn't like the sight of needles going in, like my wife. I thought it was amazing insightfulness of a character. I used to do role-playing, and we were like Nazi role-players. I swear to God, we were like in deep, proper background and storyline, and every little niggly little things to help our characters. And something like that tells you about someone. So you look at Megatron, and then you say Megatron is scared of needles. That puts a completely different perspective on his character, even though it's this tiny little thing. I like that. And it's little things like that that I liked about it. The depth in character. It doesn't have to be serious stuff. Why? Life isn't always serious. And that's what I like about the new stuff. It's not about, we must save the humans, blah, 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 blah. It's more of, I need to look after myself and do this because it's the right thing to do for me. Or whatever, you know, it's got humour in it. It's tons of humour, especially in MTME. More than meets the eye. For the simple fact of James Roberts just loves it, and so do we. You know, it's great. I absolutely love what's going on. I haven't really moaned about IDW as such. I'm reading that Cybertron again because I read it like when it came out, and then not read it again. So I'm reading them all one after the other now. And I don't know what to make of it yet. I'll let you know about that. But there is the point I'm getting at is there's weak ones in both ends and the strong ones in both ends. So I suppose they cancel each other out, don't they? So we've got G1's got everything, started everything. Characters, the start of background, and development into it as well. And it ended high. I do recollect reading somewhere, I think it was actually in these books, they were down to like selling 9,000 copies an issue, and by the time they'd actually finished, they were selling like something like, I don't know, 100,000 copies or something daft like that. I don't know the exact figure, but the sales have gone right up after Simon Furman took over the US issue comic title. And but it was obviously a little too late because the cartoons had finished, the toys were waning, and so they just hit it on the head really. But it's it definitely did progress, and I'm just waffling here really. I'm still trying to figure out what was better. Some of you guys that don't read comics, and I respect that. You know, you guys are great. I have to escape somewhere. This is what I've said before. I'm a shy person. I've always have been, but you wouldn't think that when you meet me, because I'm not. I overcome the shyness, and as an adult, I'm good with it. You know, I've mastered my shyness. You know, but as a child, when I was shy, I used to escape and delve into my comics. Because I was a lonely child as well. Pretty pathetic, eh? But hey, and so I still love comics, and I love that kind of thing. And I know some of you are not into it, and that's cool as well. And you're probably not even listening to this now. You're probably going, bored comics. But just trying to get it around my head. What's better? There's some brilliant titles, brilliant ideas that came from both sides, and I still can't figure out which one I prefer, G1 or IDW. And I can't go the nostalgic way. I can't. A lot of people answer it with, oh, it's about nostalgia. Nostalgia isn't a fucking reason. Nostalgia's not a reason. I remember when I was a kid, I remember liking A Nightmare Before Christmas. I watched it about 3 or 4 years ago. It's boring as shit. Fucking hate that film. Why the fuck did I like that? And it's going back to these comics as well, and I've been reading these comics, these books, and it's like, some of them are like, oh my god, like The Mechanic. US story, The Mechanic. Steals Ratchet scalpels. And he starts, you know, oh, no, it's awful. No. And the last one Bobby Udansky does, about the Micromasters, and one of them becomes a wrestler or something. Goes into the wrestling thing. I was like, oh my god, he really went down on a low, didn't he? But then you've got things like Bumblebee in IDW. There's the storyline Bumblebee. It's like, what? And Beast Hunters, Transformers Prime's Beast Hunters. I've read them. I've got them. They're not brilliant. They're not amazing. Nothing really happens. You're not attached to anyone. I suppose that's it at the end of the day. Who you're attached to the most, the characters. What says it to you? And I have to say, being a G1, I'm going to have to say IDW, to be honest. Because even though Earth Force was good, Earth Force was great. That's how I'm weighing it up. Simon Furman's Earth Force against IDW's best. And I'm going to have to say IDW, because they haven't really. There is reinvention in there, but there's also a bit more depth to the characters and a bit more volume to them, and that's what's made them better. Really tough question for me there, Dave. Well done. Yeah, IDW. Motherfuckers. Yeah. Like it. So, there you go. I'm going to post this onto Facebook. It's just my answer, because I couldn't work it out in my head or on paper on what was the best one. So, I believe IDW has won this, but only marginally. So, thanks to those who are still here listening. I will be back for more. Remember, Iconic Reviews we've just released Optimus Prime, Spotlight Optimus Prime, which is probably one of the best spotlights to date. Okay, with me, Luke, and Raz, with Amy, Lady of Wreck, on there. You got to tune in. You got to listen to it. It's great. And check out Microbase with Dave and Patrina. Some good shit. So, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Be good. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.